And we'll start now. All right. Welcome back to another show. I'm your host today, Todd Exodus Webb, aka Holy Shinobi. And today we have
Jeriel, aka Gingerel.
in Marvel's What If. We've seen it. All right. Welcome back to another show. We've seen it. We have myself, Todd Exodus Webb, Holy Shinobi. Got Jeriel on the panel today. This is We've Seen It on Mighty Sharp Podcast. And today we're talking about Marvel's What If. First, Jeriel, how are you doing, sir?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing really good. How about you?
I'm doing all right. Doing blessed. We're here to talk about superheroes, cartoons, and superhero cartoons specifically today. Looking at my little agenda here. So today we're talking about Marvel's What If. This is the new project from Marvel Studios where it is basically taking concept of a comic book, which is, a what if story. It's a one-off, it's a spin-off about some of our favorite heroes, and they're all heroes from the MCU, which if you were following the past couple of talks we've been talking about back to back for the past couple of weeks now. They are on streaming on Disney Plus. There have been 2 episodes so far, and we're here to do a little bit of a recap about it. Just want to give some info for those who don't know. What If is Marvel's latest animated project, taking some of your favorite Marvel characters and putting them in what if scenarios, kind of spinning them on their own heads. It's done in animation, kind of this 2D CGI type of thing, kind of in the kind of a Disney style. If you've been following any of the TV shows, your Lokis, your WandaVisions, you know that like we're in the multiverse now. We're doing alternate timelines, dimension hopping, and everything that we see, is supposed to be like potentially brought up, in the later movies, like in live action. So we have our Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, right? Supposed to be coming out. And, I've heard people say that you may see some of these characters you see in the show up there. So they're kind of just climbing you up. Marvel does not waste resources, y'all. Everything is connected. So getting that out the way, let's talk about episode 1. What if Peggy Carter got into got the shield and not our golden boy Chris Jamal Evans? What? Chris Jamal Evans. Oh, so yeah, that's the what if, man. I enjoyed the episode a lot. It's basically, if you remember back in so like 2008, 2010. Captain America becomes Captain America, gets a super soldier serum, gets buff and somehow grows 2 feet taller somehow, and he's punching Nazis and saving the day. But in this alternate timeline, Peggy Carter, who was like the agent, the recruit, she actually starts Shield, which is interesting because we'll get to that at the end of the episode. But yeah, she becomes the new Captain America, Captain Carter, and it's still set in World War II. They're still fighting, the Nazis and Hydra and stuff like that. It was a really good episode. I feel like good changes without disrespecting any of the characters. I was concerned that they were just gonna like sideline my boy Steve Rogers, but I like what they did with it. What do you think, Jeriel? What are your thoughts on the episode?
So first and foremost, I'm actually loving the What If series. We'll get to probably episode 2 later on, but the first episode, it was definitely a change for me. Seeing Captain Carter take on Captain that role. Carter. That was incredible. You know what? She kind of reminds me, in terms of the build, she kind of reminds me of She-Hulk.
Yeah, no, I've heard that before.
Yeah.
She got swole. She got swole for the role for sure.
Definitely.
No, there's like the action was dope. There's a lot of action. I was not expecting so much action for the first episode. The first
Yeah,
episode felt like a whole movie for it to
it
be like
did.
30 minutes. It felt very long in a good way. Um, Steve doesn't get totally sidelined, which I'm grateful for.
Me
He
too.
actually gets a pretty cool consolation prize. He doesn't get to be the cap. He doesn't be Captain America, but he's Iron Man
He's literally the first
essentially.
Iron Man.
He's the
Yeah,
first Iron Man. So like Howard Stark, he makes him the Iron Man suit for Tony Stark. We already know my opinions on Tony Stark. We won't get into it here, but uh yeah. So he makes him the first what do they call it? The Hydra Stomper.
yeah, they did
Which
call him that.
it looks kind of just like the first Iron Man suit, like the first Iron Man movie, which is great. I thought that was dope. You know, people got there's a lot of fan service in this one because you know you got to see a lot of Peggy and
Yeah,
Steve, and like that was the whole thing about the MCU was like you know he never got to talk to Peggy, and then when he got to, she was too old and
well,
died, and then he went back in time a whole thing. You've seen it. You've already seen it. But no, I like the episode. I like the art style. It was very unique. I'm an
yeah,
animation head. Studying animation, you know, trying to break into that field myself. So it was very much a treat to watch uh Marvel do something a little different. It felt tell me if you feel the same way. It felt very Disney the way the animation looked. Like everyone
yeah,
had big eyes and rosy cheeks, but they're all the same character. And you look, they're the exact actor, I guess, more or
yeah,
less.
yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and then like a lot of if you look at the credits, a lot of the original actors came back to the voices. So it
Yeah,
really is like the characters for most of them, except for Steve Rogers.
yeah.
Everyone else was the same, and they
What was
especially were. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it was kind of weird because it was actually like it sounded just like Chris Evans
Yeah,
for a
but
little bit.
it wasn't Chris Evans. So you kind of forget, but it was like Sebastian Stan, who is Winter Soldier. Can't remember the actor who did Peggy Carter, but she's the same. Even the minor roles, they have like some of the old characters from like the first what you call it, the first Captain America movie.
Yeah,
They came back and they did it, which is really cool. I like the attention to detail they're doing.
yeah,
Yeah. And let's see. Yeah. So as we know, this alternate universe, Steve becomes the Iron Man Hydra Stomper, and he is totally cool. But
he is.
this is very much Peggy's show, and I liked it. It
Me
wasn't
too.
like too. It was just like it was just good. It was just good. I liked it. A lot of action. They were fighting a lot. How do you feel about the ending? The ending, if you don't know, they're they got us up the Tesseract like in
Mhm.
the first one, and they take it. They get to a castle because they're trying to open up the portal to another dimension. Blah blah blah. Circumstances. Peggy ends up getting caught in like a time portal, right? Into like an
Yep.
alternate dimension, right? Where I guess we don't know what happens to Steve or Buck, because Buck. Oh, that's another thing. Like Bucky never like gets his arm taken off or
Yeah, yeah.
captured by Hydra. So like, there's no Winter Soldier and there's no Steve Rogers Captain America already, just on one decision. I think that is bananas.
Yeah.
So yeah, anything that stood out to you before you
Yeah.
get to the ending of it?
Well, yeah, definitely. I again, I loved her character. I feel like she was a little bit more Captain Carter is what I'm talking about. I feel like she was a little
Fair.
bit more brutal than Captain America. You know what I
Oh
mean?
no, for sure. Yeah, no,
Like,
she was like a spy, a soldier. Well, remember, Steve is just a
oh yeah,
guy.
you're right.
Like
Yeah.
Steve was just like before all of this. I still don't really know how Captain America is that good at fighting because he's like just a guy.
Yeah, yeah,
He's,
yeah.
he's like 25, I think. He's just a dude. He's like scrawny and like malnourished and weak, and he just gets an upgrade. So if it's like maxing out your stats. If you're weak, yeah, you're 10 times stronger than your weaker self. But Captain Carter was already in shape
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
spy. So you're just taking a pro, you're just 10xing a pro. So it made sense to me why she'd be a better Captain America than
Yeah.
Steve. I never felt like that was cheated or slighted or anything at all. It just makes sense. You're just a better
Yeah.
version of a super cool character. Yeah. Now she was dope. Her actions, like she was doing stuff I never saw Steve do. She was throwing
Yes.
motorcycles, uh, flipping trucks. Like that was dope twice. I was very impressed by
Yeah.
that. Howard Stark was my favorite character though in
How
this whole
so?
thing because he was just great. He's just great and not his son.
And he's not his son.
he not he's
Wow.
not his son. He's just solving problems and helping people. And he still got the Stark swag, but
Yeah,
it's
he
good to
does.
see this. But you see the source. You see where we didn't go wrong. So I'm grateful. I think it was really fun. There was some really funny moments with Howard Stark. Very much enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're gonna speed through this first one because I really want to dive deep to the second
I
episode.
me too, Loki.
So like, she gets caught into the time portal and she comes out and she sees Sam Jackson, Nick Fury, who's also voices his character again,
Yep.
with Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner. So they all voice their own. Besides Chris Evans, that's so weird.
Yeah,
Maybe it
that
was
was
cop.
so weird.
I'm pretty sure that they must have been like caught between movies or something.
Maybe.
So yeah, and she's in the past. She's like 70 years in the future, and she says she's trying to do what she been trying to do, which is stop the war, and there's always another war.
I will say this. Sorry to interrupt, but I will say this.
Go
I kind of like where she went through the portal, and only because I was like, how are they going to segue this? Because in the Captain America films, he's frozen for 70 years.
Right.
But for her, it's like, she's, still she didn't get, in an iceberg.
Yeah, she didn't. So she didn't age.
Either. Right. So I was just like, how are they going to do this? So I kind of like the decision that they went with.
It was very clever for them.
It was
a very clever way to do it. Tesseract, which is crazy because the Tesseract never gets stolen by Loki in the first one for the first Avengers that happened. It just opens up a portal. Yeah, no, it's like some very good creative decisions.
Yeah.
That happened. And that's kind of the first episode. Very strong opening, but we're here to talk about that second episode, though.
Yes, we are.
This is what we care about.
Man,
you want to talk about it?
Yeah, dude. Let me just. I'm not gonna go too far into it right now, but dude, the second episode is better than the first. Okay. But in my opinion.
Okay.
Because it brings such a dynamic, an interesting dynamic. If T'Challa or Cha-Cha is what someone calls him, we'll get into that later on.
No, I tweeted the hell is like Cha-Cha. I was like, no, I was just like, I tweeted that. I'm like, Marvel, Cha-Cha. Interesting.
Yeah,
go on.
Yeah, so it's taking the perspective if T'Challa was actually Star-Lord. And I was like, when I first saw the trailer for it, I was kind of skeptical because I was like, how are they going to make this work? You know what I mean? Without making it weird or whatever. But they did an amazing job, in my opinion, because it was like, it for me, it brought T'Challa, who's already a great Marvel character, and it made him even more interesting. Mm-hmm. Like, what if he was like, they took the slant of him being abducted, in space, and really exploring. And I was instead
of Peter Quill, Chris Pratt's Peter Quill, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So the whole Guardians of the Galaxy movie is completely in this one eradicated, more or less. Yeah.
100%. But I loved it. And honestly, I would say I have two favorites in this. Is his name Wandu? What's his name?
Yandu.
I should know his name. Yandu. I don't know why, but his character is amazing to me.
I just love him. Yeah, no, the actor is great. His name is escaping me. But no, Yandu is great. Yandu was great in all of the movies. Now that I really think about it, and like, it was sad he died. I think he died in the second one. Then watch the Guardians of the Galaxy 2. No, he is really, really cool. I like the themes in it about family and stuff. Let's get into the episode itself. So the premise is, what if, in the OG MCU universe, Ego is this living planet played by Kurt Russell, also in this episode. They really went the whole 9 yards.
Yep.
And he is having children across the galaxy so he can have an heir to his throne or whatever. One of them is Peter Quill, who's on Earth. He's scouring the universe to find all his kids. What ends up happening is he sends a crew of scavengers to kidnap kids to bring them to Yondu, right? Or Yondu brings them to Ego, right? So in this one, Yondu doesn't actually go find them himself. He outsources the job to the two scavenger folk, right? And they find T'Challa instead of Peter Quill because where Peter Quill is a bunch of alien energy, and that's that's like the vibranium, right?
Right.
That's the vibranium, so it's super alien, and so they just thought, okay, if anything's going to be supernatural here, it's going to be this guy. And I guess they just picked the first kid they saw. They make a weird line about like all the humans look the same. I was like, all right.
I was like, all right, where are we going with this?
What do you mean by that? What do you mean?
What do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that? But yeah, and they cut to like 20 years in the future where he is the new Star-Lord, and the now infamous scene, right, of when he's like in the cave trying to find the Power Stone, and the guy is like, who are you? And he's like, I'm Star-Lord, and he's like, who? They keep like they've done that line I think 3 times now in the MCU.
Yeah.
Right. So this is like an infamous scene. And this one, they put the respect on T'Challa's name. He
did.
He didn't even have to say nothing. Like, oh snap, it's Star-Lord.
He said, should we be bowing?
Do we bowing or kneeling? Like, what do we do here? This episode was really funny. Like, this was a funny episode. Not goofy, but just like really funny. They have a lot of running jokes that build on top of each other. So the guy ends up, he ends up beating him up Indiana Jones style and takes him the main dude who we've seen in the movie like three different movies now because of the time travel stuff. He's like the new recruit, and he's like a Robin Hood type character in this one, the scavenger. So what T'Challa did, instead of them being like space thieves, they like steal from the rich and they get to the poor, and they're more hero types here. And they go to like a club, they go to a space bar or whatever, where we see some characters we kind of know, kind of recognize, and then we see my number 3. We see Thanos. We see
Mr. Thanos.
Mr. Nice Guy Thanos.
Dude,
this is like prison reform Thanos here. This is
what's crazy? It works. Like I can see that. Like
I was incredibly uncomfortable every time.
I was uncomfortable, yes, but after a while it worked, man.
Because it's still Josh Brolin. It's the same. So he's still voicing the character. It's just like, ugh. Like I'm a good guy now. Because apparently, here's the thing. This is why if we ever do like a top 10 heroes of Marvel, T'Challa has to go higher on my list now.
Yeah.
Because he talked Thanos out of killing half the universe.
Dude, that's crazy.
On an argument. Which is like you're already number 1. Okay. He already number 1. Wow. What's funny is, so they talk about it, right? About Thanos, like he talked me out about it, but I still think it's a good idea. Everyone's just like, ugh.
They keep calling him Captain Genocide or something.
They keep calling him like Captain Genocide. They keep making the genocide because he's like, oh, it's not really genocide when you think about it. And it's just like, bro, just let it ride, bro. Just stop. Dude. And that's a running joke. I think it's funny because everyone talks about like, Thanos is kind of it's kind of genocide when you really think about it.
Yeah.
I'm glad they pointed that out, because Thanos fans have me concerned about what y'all are really about. So it was a good way to make it like point fun at it. They go on a heist, right, to break out some magic beans, right, keeping with the fairy tale
Jack and the Beans
episode, right, to help feed the children across the universe, something like that. We also see our next character who we've seen before. We see Nebula, who's blonde. For some reason.
We ain't seen her like that though.
We ain't
Nebula, but we ain't seen Nebula like that. Wait a minute.
Sis got a whole new life, apparently. She got hair. She seems happy. With the infamous
calls
line,
T'Challa Cha-Cha.
Calls T'Challa Cha-Cha. There was a whole lot. I had to pause just to process what was going on here. Yeah, it's funny. Go Google the Lady Smurf. She looks just like the Lady Smurf does. Because she's dressed in white and she's got the blonde hair. I know they did that on purpose. But yeah, she's like a femme fatale, femme noir character in this one. She's telling them about the heist, and they're going on this heist, and this is where T'Challa finds out. Oh, this is also the interesting part. Apparently, Yondu still lies to T'Challa, like he lied to Peter Quill about like his parents being dead or something.
Yeah.
Here, he lied, tells like Wakanda is destroyed, which is like, whoa, that's a big bomb to drop on us. Like, what happened? And we believe it because like it was an unreliable narrator situation. So they go on the heist, and then he goes and stops the collector still, which is like, he's not a villain in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but he's like a mini boss because he has like the Power Stone, but he's like the main antagonist in this one, right?
Yeah, he is.
And they go and get these magic seeds that he's holding hostage, and there we see he's keeping people in cages, and then they get captured. T'Challa gets captured, and he says something really interesting about like, where I come from, people frown upon men in cages. So I like how they're keeping the racial dialogue is still going, even in space. This is exactly what I expect from Black people in space.
Yeah,
still being black, still being Black in space. So we love to see it.
I will say, oh my bad.
No, go ahead.
I will say this: I did enjoy the Collector being the antagonist and Thanos being an ally on the hero squad. That was a good dynamic.
It's so weird. Thanos had like, he's no real ambitions, and he's still Nebula's dad, and it's just really they're cool about it. It's just awkward, kinda. It's just there's a weird energy going on.
Weird energy.
They're getting therapy. So what else? What else can we do for Thanos? Villains need therapy apparently. The next bomb they drop is that like T'Challa finds out that the Wakanda is not destroyed, and that there's a spaceship. They got a Wakandan spaceship.
They do.
Which is okay. So what's cool about that's not like a new idea. So a few years ago, I feel like it's like Ta-Nehisi Coates did a book on Marvel for Black Panther. It's about essentially Wakandan space like explorers going out into deep space. There's a section of like the Dora Milaje that go into space. And I'm sure that's where they reference a lot of this from, which is really dope to see. And then he sees like his father, talking about, how he says a line. I wrote it down somewhere. It's really good. Pulling it up on Twitter. He talks about ways just how special, T'Challa is. And I know they're kind of talking about, the late Chadwick Boseman passed away. And this is actually probably one of his last performances, which is like really, really, really powerful, at least on the Marvel side. I'm pretty sure we'll see him again in some more episodes of What If, because everything's supposed to like build on top of each other. Right. But this is kind of like his centric episode, kind of like his big last hurrah. I'm trying to find the quote he says, because it was really got me real emotional. Like, if I can find it. All right, I can't find it. All right. But basically, he's talking about how, he's something like on the lines of, you're like a star that lights up the universe, something like that. And that, wherever you are, you'll fit in, you'll find a way. And, it's really cool. Marvel did a really good tribute to Chadwick. And, the end of the episode, or, he fights the Collector, still being T'Challa fashion. He doesn't have the heart-shaped herb, though.
That's true. He doesn't have the, the strength.
He's not like super, but he's still taking care of business. So I appreciate that. That was cool. He has no heart-shaped herb. But it's like also Yondu is still his surrogate father, so they kind of team up. And they fight people. Okay, this episode I'd be concerned because I was scared that I was gonna go on Twitter the next day and be like, "Let's fire Chris Pratt," because
no,
I was afraid because he was a better Star-Lord.
He was, and I will objectively stand by that. Yes,
he's an objectively better, more entertaining version of Star-Lord, and that scares me a little bit because I'm afraid that everyone's got haters and whatnot. And I'm
All
afraid
right.
that the Chris Pratt hater crowd may be like, hey man, can we get an alternate version of this
That's
character?
true.
Because he was very good. It was very entertaining. I had a good time.
Yeah.
Skipping to the end of the episode, there's a cool moment with Nebula and Thanos where they fight as a father-daughter situation, which is good. You see how many things just
Yeah.
get reconciled just because Chadwick
Yeah.
Boseman is in the room. Just a lot of problems solved. And yeah, what's cool, right, is he finds out his home still exists and they come back. And yeah, it's just like a whole family exchange thing, which is beautiful. I was very Disney, like wrapped up in a nice little neat bow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So I
will say
like this
this.
episode.
Yeah, I loved it a lot. I will say this. I will comment a little bit about the collector. So I love the fact that they make him the antagonist in terms of his build. This dude,
ripped abs.
if you right, if anyone watched Dragon Ball Z, this is character named Broly, and this dude,
he's built like
is
Broly for sure.
This dude is a Broly. But I like
down to the fur color. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like the fact that in the collector's I don't know, his arena or whatever, he literally in the fight, dude, he's pulling out items from
we've seen already.
Heroes and villains that we've seen, and it's so cool seeing that.
Yeah. He's got the helmet from Thor 3. He never fought with the shields, right?
No, he didn't fight with the shield.
But he had the shield, he had the hammer. He had
Korg's arm, bro. He had Korg's arm.
Oh yeah, he killed Korg. Yeah. Dude. I was like, there's no way they're talking about Korg. He killed Korg.
He killed Korg, bro.
Instant terrorist. Straight to jail. Yeah, that hurt. We love Korg. Korg is played by Taika Waititi, who directed Thor 3 and is doing the next Thor movie as well. So we love Taika Waititi, and I hurt. We love, man. I was hurt. I was like, man, he's dead. I'm starting to notice the theme is these changes come at the cost of something else. Yep. I'm sad that Korg had to go, but it is what it is. Yeah. What? Anything else that stood out to you about this one?
I like the fact that even though there were some serious moments, it was still lighthearted. Yeah, it's very like I had smiled, I felt emotional at times, but it didn't feel like it was too overbearing either way. Like it was too emotional or too serious or too goofy and too silly. You know what I mean?
It's got a lot of replay value. Like I'll probably watch this episode again tonight.
Me too.
It's a good episode. You feel good. You feel warm and fuzzy. What's interesting also is that like the Watcher doesn't appear in the first. Okay, so that's the other thing, right? So the Watcher is like the narrator of the whole what if thing. Right. We don't see him in the first episode, but we see him in like this one. He's like in every shot. You just see him just like watching.
Yeah, just watching, observing.
menacingly, just watching things go down. Yeah.
Are we going to talk about the ending though?
What about it? Like, okay, you can talk about it.
All right. So when the original Star-Lord, his dad meets him
at the Dairy Queen.
At the Dairy Queen, right? And he said, "We're clones."
I was like, "Is that Dairy Queen?" I didn't know Marvel. I didn't know Marvel had to deal with Dairy Queen like that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but he said we're closed. And if you haven't watched Guardians of the Galaxy, he basically the second one, you realize that Star-Lord is a god basically.
Yeah, he's like a half celestial immortal being, right? But in this universe, he just grows up, same age. He's like in his 20s.
Yeah.
Ego. Opens up like, hey, you got some time to deal with your dad. Kurt Russell just pops up. That's it. I was like, dude, it's interesting.
It's gonna bring a different dynamic now because
I want it to be evil. I want to see an evil Chris Pratt Star-Lord character. Will be dope.
It would be interesting.
I'm curious if they like bring that up in what do you call it? Because if you watch the trailer, there's like a whole. The Avengers still form. It's just they're just all different. I'm curious if like that'll play into it. That's the cool part about it is like you never know what they're gonna flip.
Right.
I heard an interview from the head writer for the show, AC Bradley, the other day, where she was talking about how the next episode, I think, is a Thor-centric episode, I think.
Ooh. Okay.
I think. So I don't know much about it, but I think it's got some Thor in it. If she's, quote her, not me, if that's what's going on. So, keep your eyes peeled for that. These are the type of shows that reward you for watching all the Marvel shows and movies and stuff like that. So if you've seen them, you're going to have a good time because you're going to know all the references. You don't have to know all the comic books to get all this stuff. If you do, great, but all you need to see is the TV shows. It's only 27 movies and three TV shows.
Is it 3 or is it 4? No, you're right. It's 3. Is it? Wait, WandaVision, Loki.
What's the last one? Loki was the last thing. So it's only 3. It's only 3 shows and 27
only 3. You're
movies.
Right.
You're right. Good. Like you got
that.
We in quarantine. But yeah, hopefully this will be an episode we can do like a recap. We can do reoccurring.
Yeah.
We got the 2 episodes, so we'll probably do another one next week, capturing whatever happens next week. Mm-hmm. I think we are at time. Let me check. Yep, we are at time.
Wow.
Thank you, everyone, for listening in to We Seen It, another episode. I'm your host, Tyrex's Web. We have
Jeriel.
We appreciate you sticking around, tuning in. See us next time you see us. Only on the My Sharp Network. And yeah, we'll end it here. Peace.
Signing off.
All right.